Live yet? Yay, I'm live. Hey, everybody. I am happy to be here. I am tired. I will not lie. It has been a day, but I promised you I would come live to answer any questions that you had about La Familia Loca PLC. And I did get some questions via Facebook and Instagram today. So I will start with those, but if you have any other questions, I encourage you to just write them in the chat because I'll be able to see your questions and answer any that you have. If there's some familia members here, they can answer from their perspective too, because obviously you'll have my perspective as the creator of La Familia Loca PLC, but my members, as members, might be able to share their perspectives as well. So you can just keep an eye on the chat for them to answer. This is our logo. So the first thing new members notice is that emails from me change when you become a member of La Familia Loca PLC. If you're on my regular email list, you know that you normally see my logo when you receive emails. Well, they still receive my regular emails, but they also receive these new La Familia Loca emails with this crest, which is our Familia logo. One of the first questions that came up today was specifically about how busy this person feels. They are a full-time parent. They have a second job outside of school, and they have school. And they also feel like school is already very consuming of their time and of their energy. So while the testimonies that they heard on the podcast were incredibly enticing, also, by the way, if you have not listened to episode 51 of Teaching La Vida Loca, and if you are at all curious or wondering or on the fence about joining La Familia Loca PLC, go and listen to that and hear the perspective of our actual members. Each of their stories was very unique and very special. To hear about how they've grown, what the impact has been, how the joy in their classroom has increased, how they've been pushed personally or professionally within the community, and how they have found a community and a familia within La Familia Loca PLC. I encourage you to go and listen to it. But even with those testimonies, she was like, I want it so bad, but I'm just like super overwhelmed with everything I have going on. Now, the point of this is, all of this is to say, is that you can use it as you need it to be. Liz mentioned in that podcast that there are months that she goes without listening if she feels too busy. And then there are months where she goes to every live event. You can listen to all of the recordings. You have access to the recordings for as long as you're a member. Any recording that happens while you're a member, you have access to for as long as you're a member. People who are joining right now also get access to every single presentation from our summer conference. That's 16 hours of PD and the resources included. And you get those as long as you're a member. So you can go back and watch them 4 years from now if you wanted to. Heidi said, hi all, I'm an OG Familia member. That's what I call them, my OG members. And I'm happy to answer questions. So Heidi's here answering questions too. Heidi, I don't know if you have anything to say about the person who just said, like, what do I do if I don't have time? You're still going to grow even if you decide like, okay, I'm only going to go to the workshop of the month, or I'm only going to go to the guest presenter of the month. It's whatever you really want it to be. You can decide on the first of the month. It's not like a random Annabelle goes live whenever she wants to. That's how it used to be, actually. In its inception, I went live like 30 times a month, like whenever I felt like it, for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It was nuts. Now I have a designated time every month, 4 times a month, that I go live. Once is the workshop with me with the community work time at the end, where you split off into groups based on elementary teachers, middle school teachers, high school teachers. They all split off and talk about actual application and accountability when it comes to implementing the strategies or the activities shared in the workshop of the month. The guest of the month is scheduled, so you see when that is and who it is, so you can make plans to attend. And then the Group coaching and hot seat Q&A is always at the end of the month, and it's just a group coaching session where you come and ask any questions that you have burning on your mind. And then the final one is the Lanyap community building one. And I have members who have never been to one of those. And I'm always like, why though? Because those are the fun ones. Those are the ones that are literally not at all work related. So they don't have to. It's just like for us to connect as humans. Sometimes it's happy hour. Sometimes it's Zumba or a trivia night. We've done sip and paint classes with my friend Libby Minshaw. We've done a ton on those nights. I love those nights personally. The beauty of La Familia Loca is everything is recorded and we can access it whenever we want or have time for it. Yes. I have the Kajabi app and I listen to sessions on my commute to work if I can't make it live. It's something I really want to hear. Yes, exactly. So Heidi is explaining that there's a phone app based on the website that I use to house everything. They are able to listen to all of the workshops, all of the presentations from their car or from while they're gardening or while they're working out or while they're cleaning. Paul, my German member, shared with me that he gets his bathrooms cleaned while he listens to La Familia Loca sessions, which is great. Ginny says, so you know a month in advance of when guests are? That's great. I work a second job and could ask off. Yeah, so you know on the first of the month. So for example, Ginny, this Saturday is our guest of the month presentation. And members knew on the first of the month that Diego Ojeda is going to present at 2 p.m. It's not always on a weekend. I try and make at least one session per quarter or per month, a weekend session, so that my members who live in other countries have the opportunity to attend. I'm going to change my camera because I can tell my computer is running a little slow. Close that. Settings. Change my camera. General. Does it not let me change my camera? Well, that's highly annoying. Don't worry. I'm coming back. It's not letting me change my camera, so I just got to open that back up. So yeah, I have members who like decide that they're not going to come to the community work time session and workshop this month because it's not on a convenient day, but they know that they for sure want to be there for the guest speaker. So they make that happen, if that makes sense. Hey, Elizabeth. Hola, hola. Heidi says, Lanyap is so awesome. It brings me so much joy. Me too, Heidi. I love our Lanyap sessions. I love getting together just to connect and build community and not worry about anything else. In fact, that's kind of what the retreat felt like. We did our very first ever La Familia Loca PLC retreat this summer. We went to Pensacola together and just spent time on a beach, and it was freaking amazing. And it felt like a giant lanyap session. Lanyap in the South, at least in Louisiana, means something a little extra, like a little bit extra. Heidi actually defined it on my podcast. But the whole retreat felt like a lanyap session. Like we just got to chill and hang out and build community. Yes, you always know on the first of the month what the whole entire month schedule looks like. You also know the theme of the month. The resources, that's a good question. The resources are in English, French, and Spanish, and it's always to supplement what you're doing. So this month, the resources are a student get to know you survey, the hopes and dreams. I re-released that. That's available to anybody, actually, anybody that wants to norm with their classes. And a giant this or that slide deck that's based on like, what do you prefer? And it's not for you, it's for like the teacher. And every time I release a resource, I'm very specific about how I use it with my own students. Because when I first released it, I had members emailing back and saying, oh my God, this is great. But none of them watched the drop video, I could tell. So I wrote them back and I said, I'm so glad you're happy with the resource. Make sure you go back and watch the drop video. Because the drop video is a video of me telling you coaching you exactly how I use the resource with my own students. And I had 3 of them immediately email me back and say, oh my God, this resource just got so much better. Thank you so much. I'm like, always watch the drop video because I'm explaining how to enhance the resource itself. I'm giving you the resource in English, French, and Spanish, but I'm also giving you the strategies behind how you can implement it and how you can use it in your class, which is what makes the resource powerful. And that's really important. Um, Heidi said the resources and drop videos are so amazing. Allison once said it's like Christmas morning. She said, every single time I get an email that there's a resource drop, it's like Christmas because I never know what I'm going to find. It's like magic going in and downloading it and then watching the drop video. But I think that the drop video is an essential part to it because you're seeing exactly my suggestions of how you can make it more than just this or that. Because anybody can do that. I'm telling you exactly how I implemented it with my classes and how they focused on me first because um, it's far more important like the way we present things in the first days of school, it has to be done in a way where you're not like having kids like immediately share a million things about themselves. Francoise Tenou put out an amazing post recently on icebreakers and how icebreakers are just like super um like bleh, and dominant white culture. And it's so funny because Morgan Bennett wrote in and said, I've always hated them. I've always hated icebreakers personally. And it makes so much sense. Like asking people to share all these really personal things before there's any community established. Like, yeah. So this is a way to, like, I present ways each month to use the resources in a way that I am actually doing it with my classes. It's a magical moment opening the resources. I love that. Another question that was asked was specifically around Facebook. Now, if you're watching this from YouTube, then maybe you don't have a Facebook. But if you're watching this right now, that looks like most of my watchers, live watchers, have a Facebook. One of the questions was, do I have to have a Facebook in order to participate? And that was from an Instagram person. The answer is no, but in my opinion, the best benefit of La Familia Loca PLC are the people inside it. There are members who have been doing this way longer than me. I have some names in my community who are presenters, nationally known presenters inside La Familia Loca PLC, paying members who are people who are going to respond in the Facebook comments. I also have people who should be presenting because they've been doing it for a long time, some of whom presented for their first time for La Familia Loca PLC in our summer conference. So I have experts, true experts who are ready, willing to share and contribute and collaborate within the community. Those people are the ones who make it 100 times worth having that Facebook community. And just whatever you don't like about having Facebook, suck that up. You don't have to have like it all your friends on it or whatever. Create an account just to engage and interact with this Facebook community full of educators from around the world and talk about how you are applying the strategies that you are learning about that month. Not just from me, but from our amazing guests. Why am I so frozen? Dang, of course I'm frozen. Terrible timing, computer. Hello. Okay, there I am. I'm back. Am I back? I'm kind of back. I'm glitchy. Um, Elizabeth says, will the PLC help with level 3? Elizabeth, I encourage you to also go and listen to the podcast because one of my members, Liz, who teaches upper levels 3, 4, and AP, talked about her experience in La Familia Loca PLC. Best practice is best practice. If you're teaching for acquisition driven, teaching, facilitating language acquisition through acquisition driven instruction, it all applies. The resources are not geared to that level, but I have people who use them like Luguru. I know Heidi used all the Luguru resources for her French 4 and AP, right? So you can take the resources and make them at the level that's appropriate for your students. I do write them at a level 1 or 2. I also have some people take the resources and make them a little bit more simplified for their elementary kids. So Heidi says everything we do is applicable for all levels. So my answer to you is yes, I definitely think that the resources might be a lower level, but the workshops are absolutely awesome for any level. I've actually, in months that I've brought in lower level specific people, I've specifically brought in Darcy Pippins and Jenny Wetzig to talk about upper levels and what that looks like. Um, so I have guests sometimes talk about the upper level specifically, but really what I'm talking about is how to center joy, build community, establish relationships, run a strong classroom, and engage with tons of activities and strategies that work at any level of language, to enhance the joy in your classroom, but also develop the communicative competence and cultural competence of your students, because we want to develop their empathy and we want them to become global citizens, right? Who appreciate and show curiosity for other cultures. Yes, so members definitely do take the resources and adapt them to their students and the levels that they teach if they don't feel like it's appropriate. Um, what else? What else? What was the other? Oh, another question was about specifically the guests of the month and how I source them. How do I choose them? I choose them based on familia members. I poll familia members and I say, who do you want to hear from? And as long as it's a person that aligns with my values, I can invite them. There are people that have been suggested before that I believe do not have the same values as me. They don't value the work of the diversity, equity, inclusion, moving in a direction of a truly inclusive classroom. I am on that journey. I will continue to be on that journey. It's a lifelong journey of learning and unlearning. I don't invite guest speakers that I feel like continually do harm and like are not considerate of BIPOC communities, or actually are not doing any work to serve those communities or to represent those communities in the resources that they're selling. Those are not people that I'm going to invite, but I invite people who I feel align with my values and who I think align with the theme of the month and can come in and share their expertise on that. Today was my third day back, and our takeaway from Sunday already helped me tremendously. Awesome. You already feel that students are connecting with you. Elizabeth, this is awesome. This makes me so happy. It's huge, right? That's what's most important. And that's what I'm trying to remember, because I was crying earlier tonight, which I do on La Familia Loca PLC's calls when I'm like frustrated with something, because my word walls aren't done. Like I'm so far behind setting up my room. It's a joke. But this year more than ever, I've seen the power of building community and just focusing on kids first and nothing else. Everything else comes later, you know? So, Elizabeth, that feeling, and anybody else watching, that feeling of being in a workshop, being immediately able to implement something and immediately feel that difference and feel the joy and feel the growth and see the impact, that's the power of La Familia Loca PLC. It's also powerful to be able to take those takeaways, come back to the Facebook community, say, oh my God, I did this, it worked. I'm so excited, because members are then going to praise you, and you sharing that might be just the push that another member needed to be able to try it, right? That's the power. It's the accountability piece, because when we have all these other members holding us accountable and like trying it themselves and sharing their successes and sharing the challenges so that we can navigate those together and improve together, that's where the power is, because it's a real community. Chio says, Annabelle walks you through your CI and ADI journey. She also pushes you to step out of your comfort level and challenge you to try new things. Yes, all of my members, no matter where you are, because some people are really, really new to this and others are really experienced, like Chio. Chio shared on our podcast too, and shared about how she went from just like standing on the sidelines to being part of my team now as a coach and as a mentor and as somebody who looks at resources. There's definitely a bug outside trying to get in. It sounds like a big old roach. We can be our authentic selves all the time in La Familia Loca, and it's so refreshing. Yes. Yes, 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 and I can too. That's why sometimes I do come crying to meetings or venting or frustrated, right? Because I know I can be authentic and real with my members and I can lean on them because I know they can lean on me when they are having moments that are struggling, right? Oh, you did the name glyphs. That's so fun from Senora uh Profesiera. I shouldn't have said Senora. Profesiera, isn't that a great resource? Profesiera put out a fantastic resource that she learned from a another teacher on TikTok, and she gave credit to that teacher. But you should go and check out that resource if you don't know what I'm talking about. If you missed my workshop on Sunday, I'm sad to not have had you. But that's when I opened the doors to La Familia Loca PLC. I shared for about an hour and a half. After Q&A, it was 2 hour long workshop with ideas and strategies for starting the year really strong, energized, and empowered. And it was awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I share about the real things too because I am in the classroom just like you, which again, that makes my approach to coaching and leading in this group unique because I am in the classroom full time. I'm not standing on the sidelines. I'm developing these resources to use with my own students. And then each month I'm coming and I'm saying, hey, this is how I did it. This is how I would improve it. These are the tweaks I've already made because of that. And I'm giving it to you. For that reason, many times the resources are released towards the end of the month. This month they were released, I think, on the 12th or 13th. So I was on top of it. But which is amazing because my person who usually helps me, Viviana, is not helping me right now. And I have my friend Nicole, which thank goodness Nicole stepped in. Nicole is helping a lot this month. But I was so excited that I actually got the resources out a little early. It was great. What other questions? Do those of you watching, there's a few of you watching, feel free to ask more questions in the chat. I'm trying to think of there was at least one more from Instagram today. You can watch them live or watch in your portal. Oh, Jennifer made a good point. Jennifer joined me on my Instagram live and said that it's not just being able to watch recordings the month of, it's the power of being able to go back retroactively and watch video content, which makes so much sense to me because we oftentimes maybe are not at a place where we can implement something. We don't want to do classroom jobs right now. Don't allow. Why is this doing this? We don't want to do classroom jobs right now, or we want to implement them next semester, or maybe we want to learn more about using music in our classrooms, but not right instant. Those are all reasons to be able to go back in the future and look at things, right? You can go back for as long as you're a member, you have access to your portal to be able to download things, to be able to listen to content, listen to the workshops, and download the resources for as long as you're a member. That's what's powerful right now, too, is because I forgot of how I set it up, it ends up being a huge bonus for new members. The entire conference from July, we did a conference instead of our regularly monthly scheduled content. We did a conference, and Familia Loca members were our presenters. And so anybody who joins now gets all 16 hours of that conference, high quality PD that people raved about within the community. Very inspiring, very engaging, and those resources that they shared to go with it. And that's all included in your membership, which is really fortunate. Yes, I agree, Amy. The conference was out of this world. It really was so special. The conference was so special. It was absolutely incredible, Heidi says. Yeah, it was a really, really special conference. And just the fact that that's powerful too, that's a testament in and of itself, is that my Familia Loca members were our presenters. Some of them present nationally already, even globally, internationally. And that's amazing. And I also had people who are brand new to presenting that killed it. They rocked it. And it felt so awesome for them to share their expertise because they are experts and they have so much to share, but they just needed a push in the right direction. Right? They needed the opportunity to share with other people their wild, amazing knowledge. Um, Students have jobs. For me, I only change twice a year. But John Seifert, who did the course on classroom jobs with me, he changes his like every 5 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. He changes his frequently. He teaches high school. That's why we did a course together, because the way I do classroom jobs in elementary and how I would have done them in middle is very different from how John does them with high school. What other questions about Familia Loca PLC can I answer for you tonight? Any other questions? The community is open until Friday at 8 p.m. Friday at 8, the doors are going to close. I open the PLC twice a year. And every time it opens, it goes up in price. And that's just because there's more content within it every time it opens, right? So that's one of the reasons for it. And it just gets better every time, right? So I close the door so I can really work with and foster the community that is La Familia Loca PLC, being really intentional so that I'm not constantly doing this, because this is a lot of work. These launch weeks, I'm sure you've seen, these emails are a lot to write. This is a lot of work. And then I close it. Uh, the conference was amazing experience. The knowledge, joy, and love that we shared in our community was wonderful. Yeah, it really was. It was so, and it was so uplifting to hear how members were encouraging each other and celebrating each other, and like showering each other with love and praise for these first time presenters. Like, people were blown away that they were like first time presenters and they did such a good job, and their generosity and sharing their ideas and their resources. And it's so refreshing to hear from other people. That's the power of the guest speaker of the month, right? The guest speaker of the month coming in and being a different voice from mine is really powerful. We've had this month is Diego Ojeda. We've had Ben Tinsley. We've had Diana Noonan. We've had Donna Tatum Johns. We've had Jenny Wetzig, Marion Overton. We've had AC Quintero. We've had Kia London. We've had Erica Poplinsky-Burge. We've had Allison Litton. We have had Berta Delgadillo, Claudia Elliott, John Seifert, Justin Slocum Bailey. We've had Darcy Pippins. We have had everybody, Cecile Lene. So many incredible humans have come to present and work with my community. I've been very lucky. Yes, we would love for you to join us and be part of a Familia Loca. Gracias, Heidi. That's really the piece that's so powerful, is like these humans who are here tonight. I told them I was going live. I was like, hey, if you want to answer any questions from a member's perspective, this is when I'm going live. And the fact that these humans are showing up to share their experiences is huge, right? Because they're taking of their time to let you know that if you are looking for a place to grow as a professional and grow personally as well, that La Familia Loca PLC is a great place to be. They are amazing humans. They are the best part of La Familia Loca. They are what make it a familia. And we're all a little bit loca. I don't just bring the loca. We're all a little crazy in here. So if you are looking for that sort of community, if you feel like an island, if you feel like, if you are a Department of One, or you feel like a Department of One because you're lacking that community collaboration and support, consider joining us, because we would love to have you this year. I'm going to end this broadcast. The link to join is in the notes. And we would love to have you. We would absolutely love to have you. There's some testimonies that I'll share tomorrow. If you're on my email list, be on the lookout. And I encourage you to go and listen to episode 51 of my podcast, because I have members share their experiences, and Each experience is so incredibly unique, and they each talk about like their journey within La Familia Loca PLC, whether it's their journey of growth, their journey of like experiencing more joy in their classroom because of the PLC and the ideas shared, or perhaps it's like, I'm so busy and this is how I still make this community work for me and in a way that brings me joy and brings me the consistent inspiration that and energizing feeling that I need. So we would love to have you. Let me know what questions you have. You can always email me too. And I'm thinking of you. I'm sorry my computer was so glitchy tonight. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I teach high school. I have about 100 students and I have about 10 jobs. You have 100 students per class though? You might be interested in my class jobs course for real. I have my classes are small this year. I have like 22 kids a class, but I have 30 jobs. And so a lot of kids have 2 jobs. We just finished assigning class jobs this week. Okay, I love y'all. I'll talk to you later. Adios. See you.